And now it is time for our weekly dog training segment, in a segment we call Bark in the Park. And our guest today is the lovely Kyra Sundance. Kyra is a published author. She has literally written the book on dog training and tricks, and she has established an accreditation program. She's also part of the group Do More With Your Dog. Kyra has quite the lengthy resume, and she is joining us today to bring you all up to speed on how to live better lives with your dog. So Kyra, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Karina, I'm so happy to be here on Dog Mom News.
Oh, thank you, Kyra. So let's start at the beginning. When did your love for dogs begin?
So in my late 20s, I was a marathon runner and I wanted a dog to be my running buddy.
Oh, how fun.
So I got a little puppy and I thought, well, the dog's going to need to be trained, right? To be running with me. So we enrolled in these training classes, and just like immediately, I just got obsessed with the puppy and with training, and we started enrolling in every single class we could get. And that just became my whole thing after that.
It's amazing, Kyra. Now let me ask you this. Is it possible to overdo it? I mean, when you're doing all the things and you have a puppy?
No. What better to spend your time on than obsessing over your puppy, right?
I know. Sometimes we can get so in our heads, though, and we just need to go and be consistent and do the right things. So thank God for trainers like you, Kyra, and we're so grateful that you're here to share all of these helpful tips with us today. Now, I know you're a self-taught trainer, so what kind of training mindset do you have with Do More With Your Dog?
So right from the start, I learned about positive reinforcement training, and that was the only way that I wanted to train. So for people not familiar with it, positive reinforcement training is where your dog is a willing partner in the training process, and you don't force your dog to do anything, and you don't use compulsion techniques. And some people understand it. There's still a lot of the old school of thinking that uses more compulsion techniques, right? Sort of pushing your dog. For example, if you were teaching a sit, a compulsion technique would be to push his butt down into a sit. And it's not necessarily mean or anything, you're just pushing his butt down, right? But once you learn about positive reinforcement techniques, it opens up this whole great world, because there's so much more things you can do, because you're not physically manipulating the dog, you're asking him to use his brain and to use baby steps to whittle into what exactly it is that he's supposed to do. So it becomes like this fun game for the two of you, where you kind of work it out. Yeah, so once you kind of get the bug on positive reinforcement training, it's just really fun for them.
There you go. We can have fun. We don't have to strong arm them to get them to do what they want. Like you hear my dog Louie in the background. He's a cocker-doodle-poo, and he is so much fun. But when I'm trying to get him to say sit, for example, what I do is I'll just take the treat and I'll kind of hold it up to his nose and kind of do an upward movement, and he just happens to sit, and he happens to love treats. So he may bark for a little while now. He's in the other room. We'll work on that later, Kyra. But am I on the right track there with the positive reinforcement?
That's exactly what positive reinforcement training is. And don't feel like you have to make excuses for your dog barking in the other room. Like sometimes I think we get caught up in how other people think the dog should be trained. Like, oh, the dog shouldn't bark. The dog is not allowed on the bed. The dog is not, you know what? It's your dog.
Right.
Like you decide how you want to live with this dog, and you train him according to what you want.
Right. And he's such a social creature. I imagine right now he's looking outside. He probably sees a child, out there on the scooter or something. And he's like, hey, I want to play with you, But, I know that you and your dog, Chelsea, since we're talking about my dog, I want to talk about your dog. He has been featured on a lot of different television shows. So I feel like we have so much territory to cover as far as your experience with your dog. But go ahead and walk us through like how you actually broke into television.
Oh my gosh. Just like life is so random.
It
right?
can
The past-
be. Yes.
So marathon running, bought the puppy to be my partner, enrolled in these training classes, and like totally got the bug. Well, me being like this overachieving mom, right? I had to take every class, and I had to do it when the puppy was like 8 weeks old. Like, oh no, we need to start the class. We don't want to waste any time. So I was in these obedience training classes, and the puppy was so young, and the puppy didn't have the attention span to hang with you for the whole hour. So I started doing this thing where I would just like go to the back of the room for a while and just do like little tricks with the puppy. Like, okay, that's enough obedience. We're just gonna play for a little bit and do whatever. So I kind of started teaching tricks, and that kind of became, it was so much fun to teach tricks because, as you know, traditional obedience classes, they tend to be a lot of like walking in circles, and sit and stay and whatever. We started doing like these funny tricks, and it just became really fun for the both of us. So we kind of did a lot of it. So then one day I saw a flyer for, there used to be this TV show on Animal Planet called Pet Stop.
Yes.
It was huge for a while. It was actually like, ended up being like this global TV show all over the place for some random reason. But it was a pet talent competition where every week like 10 different pets would come on, and they had celebrity judges, and they would, pick a winner. But they were not professional animals. These were like a kid and a bird and a housewife and a dog that like skateboards for no, just no apparent reason.
So awesome.
There's some animal that just does this. Oh my gosh, there was one, I think it was a dachshund, taught himself how to shoot rubber bands. He would like hold the rubber band with his paw.
I wouldn't even think of that.
Pull back on it, like let go or something. It's like not something you could ever teach an animal in 100 years if you try.
Right.
But anyway, so there was there's like no open auditions in Burbank for this show. And I'm like, oh cool, it's another thing. Like we're gonna go try out for that show. And because I had already taught her all these tricks, I was like prepared. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do this, a bunch of tricks. And so we went and did this open audition, and they're like, all right, you're on the show, you're on next week or whatever. And we were on the show and we won. And then they were like, they're like, oh, okay, you won. And tomorrow is the season finale where we bring back the winners of all 15 episodes to compete in the grand finale. So you're staying in a hotel tonight and you're coming back here tomorrow. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
Like, what are you talking about? I didn't bring any clothes. I didn't bring any makeup. I didn't bring any dog food.
I can tell you have a sunny outlook always, and you're down for a good challenge. I know that about you, Kyra.
Things producers forget to tell you, right? Like,
Pat just in case.
So they're like, okay, we're putting you up in this, crappy hotel right here, whatever. And across the street was the Kmart. And I'm like, okay, perfect, Kmart. I could get dog food. And I got this like horrendous pink outfit that didn't even fit with like these plaid capris and like this. I'm like, all right, I got my clothes. And we went back the next day for the season finale, and we ended up taking third. I don't know if you remember, the winner that year was Skid Boot.
Skid Boot. Like no, but tell me more about Skid Boot. I mean, just the name.
He became famous. He was just like this cowboy's dog, and and he was like, he was just really well trained. And so we got third, and then after that we got a call from The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Wow.
And they're like, we're doing a segment on the world's smartest dogs. And coincidentally, all three of the world's smartest dogs like lived right around Burbank where they filmed.
Of course, but of course.
But so like we went on The Tonight Show and whatever, and then I think I got a call a little while after that from some woman, and she's like, oh, I saw you on The Tonight Show. Can you perform at my son's birthday party?
Oh my.
And I was like, absolutely.
Right. You're like, I can do just about anything because you've been through so much at that point. I'm sure you learned to be prepared and to just go with the flow.
It's the ignorance of youth, right? You say yes and figure it out later.
That's right. And I'm sure that led to so many other opportunities, though. But isn't that true? Like one opportunity leads to the next and leads to the next. And we just need to be flexible and give everything our best. But I mean, you obviously have such talent and joy that just comes across on the screen. And so it doesn't surprise me one bit that you've had such a beautiful career, including being a published author. How did you segue from, from TV and parties and training into writing books?
Isn't it funny? People think like you actually had a plan and you were really smart in your career, but when you tell them the truth, it's like such a random circumstances. No, I got a call. I picked up the phone and they're like, "Oh, we're a publisher, and like we saw you on whatever, I don't know, whatever was popular at the time, YouTube or something." And they're like, "We want you to write a book on dog tricks." And I was like, "Yes, I can do that."
Why not?
And they're like, "Well." Again, say yes and figure it out.
Right.
And they're like, "Well, we just published a book called 101 Yoga Poses. So I was thinking you could write like 101 dog tricks."
There you go.
And I'm like, "Absolutely." And I get off the phone. I'm like, "I don't think there are 101 dog tricks."
But you did it. You did it, girl. Kudos to you. I love it. And it's been wildly successful, right?
Yeah, it's been the most successful dog training book of all time. It's got almost 1 million copies in print and published in like every single language. Yeah.
That is incredible. So now you also have a dictionary that you've compiled too, right? Called the Trictionary. I think that's so witty. I love it.
Yeah, that wasn't my idea. So you gave me the cute name for it. It's this online, because we have a website, so it's this online resource, like 200 tricks in it. But you look for any trick, like roll over or tidy up your toys in the toy box. And there's a description, there's a video of the finished trick, and there's a video tutorial of how to teach it. So any trick you want to know, you just go to the Trictionary.
Wow, that is so fun. I mean, and now you can add to your resume, New York Times best-selling author, international bestseller. The sky's the limit for you, Kyra. I love it.
It's random. Again, things just happen in my life randomly. I can't take too much credit.
So, okay, after working in television for a while, writing, then you also created an animal actor training program. Fill us in on that program and how that works.
So people don't even know how many animal actor jobs there are, but it's really an accessible venue for people, not just professionals, but for just ordinary people. Because the way it works is animal talent agencies, they've got their stock of their own animals. So they may have a bloodhound and a German Shepherd and a lab, a couple of popular breeds. But if somebody wants a standard poodle in full show coat, they aren't going to house that dog because it's way too much effort to keep that dog brushing or whatever. So any other breed that they don't have, they go to what's called private party dogs. So they just kind of put out feelers, or like, who has a Weimaraner, or we need it for a commercial on Friday. And they kind of just know people and ask friends, whatever, and they find a Weimaraner and get them. So it's super accessible. So my program basically, it does two things. Number one, it teaches private party dogs the skills that they're going to need to be set trained. So just for example, being able to load in and out of a crate, in and out of a vehicle, accepting grooming, they're going to have to be brushed, being socialized to like loud noises and lights and stuff like that. And then as they get to higher levels, you're also going to have to learn like silent cues on set because you can't be shouting things, be able to do a trick at a distance. So, if you're in a movie, you can't be standing right next to them. Be able to go to a mark, A/B marks, that kind of stuff.
Sure. Yeah, because
and then it's an online database. So all these dogs that have passed at least level 1, right, where they accept grooming stuff, they're listed on the online database. So any casting agent that wants a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel located in British Columbia can sort of narrow it down and go, oh, okay, there's one here, and there's a photo of him, and there's the contact information for the owner and all that. And it's all free. The information is just up there, so whoever needs it can find it.
That is so great, because I'm sure that, when folks in Hollywood are looking for, the best dog, they want to know what they're getting into, right? They want to know that dog's not going to just take off during the take and like, hey buddy, come back. So for you to bring it ground level and really help educate people if they see that special something in their dog that could maybe translate, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and there's a lot of work for dogs. I mean, it's everything from just print ads and those little flyers you get in your mailbox and PetSmart ads. I mean, it goes on all the time in every part of the country.
Yeah. Now, tell us about any memorable on-set experiences. Do you have anything that stands out to you, like a story we just have to know?
It says they're all funny, right? Like everything that seems to happen in the movie industry is just funny and quirky. But so I guess one of the first jobs I got sent out for was, go to this location, whatever, and here's your time. And on your little call sheet, the action that we had to perform was animal sits with actor. Like, great, you're like, my dog knows 101 tricks. You want her to sit with actor?
Right.
Okay, fine, whatever. So we go and show up and, wait there all day. It's finally your turn. Okay, bring out the dog. And the actor we were sitting with was Angelina Jolie in like this beautiful silver dress and had the Weimaraner there. It was awesome.
Wonderful. And, Angelina Jolie, does she have a soft spot for animals? Were you able to determine if she's a dog mom or dog lover herself?
Well, she was. I will say I do give her credit for the one thing. So one of the actions they wanted was she was sitting there in her gown, and they thought, could the Weimaraner kiss her on her cheek like that? And so they asked me, could the Weimaraner kiss her on her cheek? And I'm like, well, I have salami. Can I rub salami on her cheek? Sure.
She went for it? Oh, way to go,
Angelina.
That is so awesome. Now, how can our audience get their dogs ready for the show business if they think, oh, maybe my dog wants to do this?
Yeah, so just a couple things for, sort of for level one that you're going to need to know, and I kind of covered them, socialization, make sure they're sort of okay with loud noises, with getting in an elevator, with going upstairs, a couple like those weird things that may encounter. Crate training is a big one. They're going to have to be, if you take them to set, they're going to have to be in a crate for a long time until it's their turn, getting in and out of a vehicle. Stay is a big one, because most often, even if you're sit with actor, just sit, stay. And then the other big one I would say is go to mark. So just like people have marks on set, like a little X or something, dogs do the same thing. And we usually do it with like a little disc, like a yogurt lid or, something small like that you put on, and the dog learns to go to it and stand on it with one paw. And yeah, it's a really fun thing to teach, actually.
Hashtag goals. That's what we're talking about, Kyra. I'm going to get there with Louis Bear Armstrong Sullivan. You just heard, yeah, we're going to get there, Kyra, with your help. Oh, so if folks want to stay on top of what's going on with Do More with your dog, how can they do so?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the website, domorewithyourdog.com, and it's got just a ton of free resources, the Trictionary and the Animal Actor database and stuff. So yeah, just browse around.
Sounds great. I could talk to you all day. You are so much fun, Kyra. Thank you for your time. I wish you all the best. Kyra Sundance with Do More with Your Dog. Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Do us a favor, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more informative and awesome Dog Mom News content. And be sure to click that notification bell too to stay up to date with all our new content in real time. You'll also want to be sure to join us for our live stream each Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you soon.